Jai Shri Krishna to all. Welcome to Path to Anandam series. And our topic of today is power of rising beyond ego. And pranam to Guruji Hariharji Maharaj for his blessings and Bhagwan Krishna Ji for bringing us together and his blessings. I'm Satya Kalra, your host of the program and founder of Path to Anandam. And our sessions are mainly based on the science and spirituality. Being a medical scientist, that's my passion. And I'm so glad that I get an opportunity to share with all of you. So thank you very much for joining. So power of rising beyond ego, which means awakening our true self through humbleness, awareness, and inner strength. So what is ego? What is ahankar? And why are we discussing that today? And how many types of ego is there? And then how to liberate ourselves from ahankar, from ego? And if we do that, what would be the benefit we will get? And what does the medical science say about it? What are the practices which we can imply in our daily life? And what is our sankalpa? Our sankalpa for today is, I am humble. I live in modesty. And homework with the tips of today, with the tip of the day will be, and meditation. I am humble. I rise beyond ego. And then there will be question and answers. So what is ego? Ahankar. It is itself, it says what is ahankar. If you look at that ahankar, aham, kar, aham karta. I am the doer. And we live in that false pride because the supreme power is the doer, not us. So ego is the self, giving the self-importance, self-conceited, like arrogance. It is a false identification with the body, mind, and the role we play, like I am the one, I am the one do all these things, me, mine, mera, main. This is what the ego is all about. But it's not an enemy. It is just a veil. You know, there is a beautiful song in Ghungat ke pat khol tujhe piya milenge. So which ghungat we are talking about and which piya we are talking about? This is the veil we are talking about, the veil of ego. And piya, our God, supreme power. That's where Rumi says, the ego is a veil between human and God. Satchit Anand, where we are, our true nature is love, peace, anandam. But this veil of ahankar, ego, separates us from supreme power, from our true being, who we are. I'm Satchit Anand. So what are the problems created by ego? And how many types of the ego? So one of the ego is superiority. I am better than you. I'm better than others. And that is the fundamental cause of the relationships, the bad conflicts in relationships. And then other one is inferiority, ego. I am not good enough. And many times that's what our Swamiji always said in Aarti, never say, "Main Murag kal kami." We are no less than anybody, or because we are a form of supreme power. We are Atma. We are part of Paramatma. So, but the problem is, why with that thought that I am not good? Many times when we feel that way, we may go into depression, and that's a major cause of depression. And then it results into jealousy because I am not good enough and other people are better than me. So it creates a jealousy, resentment. And now here you can see it, how it is ego breaking the relationship, how the ego is here. I am better than others. You can see these icons, these images, how one judgments others with their judging others, how they kind of condescend other people. And then the superiority of the spiritual ego. This is the most dangerous one, where one can start on this path, but in this path there are many barriers, and the biggest barrier is ego. Now I am more aware. I know more about Bhagavad Gita. I know more about scriptures. I know more about meditation. My ways are better than other ways. And now still we are living in the ego, though we are on the path of spirituality, which is good. But we have to be very aware of it, because that's a very dangerous path. And we have seen that in many spiritual leaders as well. And even in our daily life, we see people also. So here, Buddha says, relationship never dies, or in other words, it does not die in a natural way, but it dies because of the ego. They are murdered, actually it is called, they are murdered by ego and negative attitude. So ego isolates us from our inner peace and from others. So ego, it divides us. Again, here Buddha says, basically, Rumi and Buddha are saying the same thing. It's a veil between God and us. So what is this ego versus soul? We talk about a little bit about the ego, which basically is a false perception that who am I? Because we are the soul, we are the Atma. And when we are living in this false perception, we start blaming others, we become very arrogant, and then one becomes very jealous, angry, upset, and they're totally caught up in me, I-ness, and very self-centered, very selfish people. But on the other hand, when we live in the consciousness of supreme power, then that aham karta, ahankar is not there, because it's all divine will, it's divine process. The Atma, the current which is flowing within us, is the doer. And we feel more loving, caring, more anandit, happy. We feel more humble, more happy, more peace. And we are more empathetic to other people. And we are also very selfless. We care for others. So here in summary, it says ego versus soul. Ego seeks to serve itself, but soul seeks to serve others. Ego seeks outward recognition, but soul lives in inner authenticity. Ego seeks life as a competition, but soul seeks life as a gift. Ego seeks to preserve self. Again, I-ness, I-ness, I-ness. And soul seeks to preserve others, care for others. Ego looks outward. Soul looks inward. Ego feels lack, missing, but soul always feels abundance. So the message here is do everything that feed your soul, not your ego. And you will be more happy and more closer to supreme power, God. So the question comes, what does ego arise? Or why does ego arise? Where does it come from? What are the causes? Mainly ignorance. We do not recognize our true nature, that I am Satchit Anand. And so lack of self-awareness, and we do not reflect on it. There's something, how we behave, how we feel. And of course, discipline is one of the major cause, and guidance, because sometimes we even don't know this is ego or this is my self-esteem. There is a fundamental difference between ego and self-esteem. Ego is, I am better than others. But self-esteem says, yes, I can do it. Not regardless of others. That's supreme power is with me. Self and is there. My true nature is there. It is called self-esteem. Self means Atma. Here is the Atma, not the related to body. So Atma, I'm more related, living in Atmic energy. So my esteem is coming from supreme power, not from ego. And as I said, it is these are the main causes of 5+2 enemies. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankar. Ahankar is the biggest one. That's why Bhagavad Gita always says, live in God's consciousness. 𝐏𝐤𝐬𝐬 𝐵𝐴 𝐵𝑢𝑛 If we live in the consciousness of my body and mind, 𝐏𝐤𝐬𝐬 𝐵𝐴 Sangasteshu upajayate, sangas sanjayate kama. Then the desires will come, more desires will come, and kama, krodho vijayate, and krodh and from anger, ego comes. All these are all related to each other. So from ego comes anger, and from anger comes ego. It's just a vicious cycle. And there is a fear, there is a worry, because this is all causes of, this is the web of all these vices, fear, worry, and sometimes social conditioning, and sometimes there are traumas in life which we become insecure, and then the ego becomes a protector for us. And we kind of shy away, whether we go into depression or we protect ourselves that I am better than anybody else. And then Bhagavad Gita says, Ahankar vimur atma karta aham iti manyate. The deluded mind through ego thinks, I am the doer. That again comes back to Ahankar. So all these worldly desires, anger, attachment, greed, ego, and then that results into stress. And the stress causes the cortisol in the body, the cortisol, the poison in the body, and it affects our heart, all the physiological systems, and we lose our sleep. So how and why go beyond ego? Because we learned about ego, that how detrimental ego is in our life. So Gita provides us beautiful formulas how to go beyond it. And not only how to go beyond it, why to go beyond it. In other words, what will be the benefits? And in very second chapter, verse 71 and 55. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan manogatan atmnev atmana tushta sthit pragasya dojyate. Prajahati yada kaman. When we have too many desires and they do not get fulfilled, we get upset because our ego is hurt. And if we get it, we want more. So that's also playing ego is playing a role here. But in other, again, it says in chapter 2, verse 71, Vihaya kaman sarvan pumascharati nisprashaha nirmamo nirhankara sa shantim di gacchati. So the one who abandoned all his desires and becomes free from the feeling of I-ness and minus, nirmamo nirhankara, ego and attachment, attains the supreme peace. And another name of God is supreme peace, where it says again, ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam parigram vimuchya nirmamam shanti shanto brahma bhuvaya kalpate. By giving us ego, violence, arrogancy, desires, anger, and possessiveness, becoming free from the sense of ownership, and the peaceful one becomes fit for realization of Brahman, the supreme reality. So this is the path that how we reach to the ultimate goal of life, Satchit Anand, by eliminating. Here again, you can see, just let the ego go. Here, break your ego part of it. And here it says, throw the ego in the garbage. So basically, when the ego dies, the soul awakes. And then Shri Ramana Maharishi says, the ego is just a mask. Remove it. Throw it. And your true force of your inner being, that peaceful and powerful, will shine. So your true face will shine with aura. Your whole body creates so much aura, so much light, which shows your inner peace. That's why it says inner shine. So one shines in every aspect. So how to go for it is all said well, but until we practice it, we cannot go beyond ego. So how to let go of your ego? Because ego means what? Ego, E stands for easy go, let go. How can we let go this? Because this is the biggest barrier in our life. So these are the simple 7 steps. based on the AAA strategy. Number one, awareness, self-aware. Know the difference. And then analyze it. Ask questions. Why? Why it is happening? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I behaving this way? Once we start accepting our own behavior and focus on ourselves, it means we accept. And then once we do that, half the job is done. Because then the action part, because now we have intentions to change. So the action for correction. And then Bhagavad Gita comes. Karma Yoga, do seva with love and compassion, with wisdom. So do your action with love and compassion. For sarva bhut hite rata, for the benefit of all, but know the difference, which action to perform and which not to perform. And then develop divine qualities. I put it here in this particular color because Gita talks about chapter 16. And she starts with ahimsa, abhay satya samsudhir. Go beyond fear, go beyond, and then practice non-violence of body, mind. And so this is, I just put all the 26, forgiveness, fortitude, everything is Gita in chapter 16, verse 1 to 4 explains very well about all these divine qualities. And then yoga, pranayam, meditation, prayers, and then let go, let go, let go. And that's where it says ego, easy go, easy go, easy go. Means let go, let go, let go. So what are the benefits by putting all these efforts and living in the consciousness of supreme power? Because first of all, our body, mind, and soul are all connected. And when soul is connected, the wellness automatically comes in, because body and mind causes the diseases. Whatever is in the mind, it goes to body, and body goes to mind, and it just keep going back and forth. But when we are connected with soul, then the wellness comes. And actually, there is a science, medical data shows that it improves the mental status of person. It lowers the stress, cortisol, our anxiety, and there are many publications. If you look at in the Stanford, Columbia, Harvard, NIH, you will find thousands and thousands of publications on that one. And of course, it improves the heart condition and longevity. And actually, it improves every physiological system in our body, our endocrine system, our digestive system, muscular system, neuropathology is working so much in this field. And then the improvement in our spirituality. We are actually aligned with dharma. We understand what to do and what not to do, what is dharma and what is adharma in life, how to avoid adharma, which takes us to purpose of our life. And by practicing this, we feel oneness with others. So in other words, I becomes we, and then we becomes he or she. It means that I am no longer I anymore. Because we became we are one with others. And then ultimately, he or she means supreme power, whether God or goddess, whatever you believe in that. But ultimately, it takes us to I, to we, to he or she. we become less judgmental, and we feel inner peace, so content. It feels so strong. This is where the self-esteem comes, our strength, our inner strength comes. And of course, we develop divine qualities. And the divine qualities is Devi Sampad Vimokshaya. It takes us to liberation, ultimate moksha, because it connects us, deeply connects us with the supreme power, the divinity within us. And then finally it reveals our true being, who am I? But before it does, it makes us better and better human being. So we have a healthy body, healthy mind, peaceful mind, and we are connected to supreme power and experience. I am Sat Chit Anand. So here you can see it, how it connects with the others, how it gives us the oneness and the peace within ourselves, and it extends ultimately to the whole universe, from family to the nations, and ultimately. So we get the benefit of body, mind, and soul connection. And we are the wholesome human being as well as supreme power. So this is just a summary that go beyond ego means awaken your true self through humility and awareness. And here are the barriers, causes of ego, which I already explained. Here are the 7 steps, again summarizing it. Self-awareness, self-analysis, action for correction, and develop divine qualities, and practice yoga, pranayama, meditation, and finally let go. These are the 7 steps, came from Bhagavad Gita, from other shastras, own practices, but ultimately we have to live in awareness. And once we do that, as I mentioned, all these benefits we get, and we are one with the supreme power. And look at all these physiological system in the body are healed, improved. Satchit Anand, love, peace, Ananda. I am Satchit Anand. So all those 7 steps put in this calendar. So ego, easy go, let go. So these 7 steps in 30 days, I put it there, and then self-disciplining, following the calendar from morning to evening. Then the question comes, don't I have anything else to do? Because I have many other things. How can I just follow this calendar? Again, this is not the separate from us. This is something we can breathe. We live every day, but we just change the direction of our thoughts. Dhyato Vishyan Punsa. The Vishay Vikar, thinking about Vishay Vikar and other things, we just now thinking about the purpose of our life and how we are reaching, though we are practicing everything, living the daily life, but living in this with the consciousness of supreme power. And how we do it, start our day with our own mantra, which gives us the energy, our inner power. And then read Bhagavad Gita or any messages resonate with you. Somebody's autography or Bhagavad Gita's verse or word, whatever it resonates with you. But take that one thing, one message, which you need to practice, just a one practice. And then don't forget to take care of the body and mind and soul here. Yoga, pranayama, and meditation. And then, of course, this is a practice, daily practice, how to see others, how to hear ourselves, not to hear the gossip, not to judge other people, speak sweetly, nicely to other people, and give a smile and do your best. And then let go, because in the evening, just evaluate, how was my day? Did I practice this? How did my practices are enhancing my or quality in taking me more toward purpose of my life? And then evaluate in the evening, and then just sit down for 5 minutes and meditate, and then pray to Supreme Power that help me here. And once we do that, this is a path of, we purify our subconscious mind, and then we transform our आदतें change हो जाती हैं, आदत बुरी सुधार लो, हो गया भजन. So this is where the transformation comes, and we experience who I am. And here the focus is humility. And by living in self-awareness, we ultimately have a happy, healthy, and peaceful life, and oneness with Supreme Power. But ultimately, this comes when we do all these activities and surrender to Supreme Power. Sarv dharman paritajya, mamekam sharanam braj, aham tvam sarpapebhyo, mokshashyami ma shuchi. Before going to bed, this is a mantra, surrender mantra. So our sankalpa is ego, easy go, let go. And I live humbly, modesty. And little by little, our subconscious mind will get cleansed by walking on these steps like a turtle, going little by little. So with our sankalpa, kamas tattva, all the desires and ego will take care of it once we have this sankalpa. And little by little, we reach to our path. Shanai Shanai uppar mein. And so it's a time for the homework. So focus is on the self-inquiry. I expand this one because unless we question ourselves and we live in, this brings us to live in awareness. We become the Sakshi. So the first question, how would I know the status of my ego? Simple question is, when did ego last impact my peace or relationship? And then how is my physical health? Am I stressed, angry, or humble? How do I treat others? Do I judge others? What is the status of my relationship with others? That's the most toughest one, because that's where the ego plays a very big role, where we see so many broken relationships. And also look at in the politics today. Don't want to name, but you look at, what's happening here in United States with the ego, power. How many people are suffering with leaders' ignorance and egoistic lifestyle? Is not only affecting the America, but it's affecting the whole globe. It's a globally impact. So what ego can do, we can relate to it. Not just within ourselves, but in the family, what happened to the nation, what happened to the world. But on the other hand, if we on this path, if one person makes a difference, then if we all focus on it, then whole process reverse. So these questions, do I feel connected with the Supreme Power? Do I know the purpose of my life? Do I live in Satkar or do I live in Ahankar? So the true strength lies in a gentleness, not in the ego. Because ego, easy go, let go, it enhances love and make the difference, not just in our inner life, but in everybody's life. So the message here is starve the ego and feed the soul. See, here is the ego, that balloon, which is just puncture it with all these tips given here. So in other words, don't feed the ego, just feed the soul. So thank you very much for attending the session, Power of Rising Beyond Ego. Thank you.